All right, today we'll start digging into Chapter 8. This work won't end until next Friday and will go on the third marking period. So we have our new assignment, and you have some slides to work with. So we press the arrow at the bottom to move up. We press the yellow slides, and then as always, we press the arrow in the upper right-hand corner, the square arrow. So this is kind of a one slide at a time, one slide per day. And I've reduced it. This chapter initially had over 25 questions. It now has 15 questions and some notes. So hopefully it's pretty easy. We want to split screen. We split screen back with Google Classroom. We hit the X and the down arrow, and then we open the red textbook PDF, unless you want to actually use, the real book, which is fine too. So the first story happens here. Question 1. Teenagers were actually just, breaking and entering into a mansion. They thought a cave would let them sneak in. And the cave, they found something else. So you need to describe what they found and who created it. Now, dating fossils, we actually talked a little bit about this with the YouTube video from Edpuzzle. So there's absolute and relative dating. Relative dating is easier, and absolute dating is harder, but it gives a number value. Relative dating is like if I put everyone in a class in order by their birthday, but I didn't tell you what your birthday was, so you would know who was older or younger, but not how much older or how much younger. Absolute dating is when we can know the approximate age. So the book doesn't tell you. You have to guess which thing the scientists prefer. Do they prefer the quick, easy way of putting things in order without knowing any numbers, or the harder, longer version of putting things in order with their ages and their numbers? So a half-life is in here, and a half-life is what we use to do absolute dating. That's question 3. And they can be very short and very long. So there it is, all kinds of italicized. It's kind of a vocab word. And that's, again, something we encountered in yesterday's video. So hopefully it's a little bit familiar. Question 4, causes of mass extinction. So there are many eras of life, big periods of time that we're going to focus on in the next section. Precambrian, the Paleozoic, Mesozoic, and Cenozoic. And those eras of life, those time periods, are punctuated by massive die-offs that allowed for something new to replace the previous era. Those massive die-offs are called mass extinctions. Mass extinctions are when huge percentages of life on the planet go extinct in roughly the same geologic period of time. So in a couple 100,000 years or a million years, most of life goes extinct and then is replaced. So you want to check this page to see what can cause mass extinctions. There's more than 2 answers. And then lastly, Pangea. So what is Pangea? So you're going to have to read about Pangea there. And then Alfred Wegener is a scientist who first proposed Pangea, and everybody thought he was crazy. So today's YouTube video, you can see below, helps with that Pangea idea. It wasn't until the 1960s and 70s that we actually had the evidence, the hardcore evidence, to support his theory. Now, he had some evidence, but people didn't believe him because it wasn't enough. These days, we can use satellites, and we can actually see the continents moving. Like when there's an earthquake, we can see how far our continent shifted, and it's crazy. But in his day, he had different evidence. As always, be careful of questions that have 2 parts, the and. And if you want to go look at that video and it doesn't play well from here, you can either select to open the link. If you click this link, you can go and open link and push it to YouTube. Or it's the first video here. How do we know plate tectonics is real? So that's today. Tomorrow we're going to read an article about a famous discovery that is pretty recent. And wow, I need to change that. Those are Chapter 8 references. Good job, Mr. H. So this is Chapter 8. I copy and pasted some links from Chapter 7 to save myself time. Drew, I'm looking at you to spot more typos. And good luck. Email me if you have questions or join the Zoom. Remember, the Zoom is a fake assignment called Zoom Link. And if you open that fake assignment and click that link, you can Zoom. I Zoom 1st through 7th period. You don't have to show up in your class period, but if you do, you'll at least recognize who's there. So I hope to see you, and I hope that this work is pretty routine by now.